to the channel, everyone. So tonight I went to the fan special screening for Scream 7, seventh movie in this franchise. This time we are following Sidney Prescott more closely than before. This movie takes place really around her family and what she's been up to since all of the events that have led up to where we are now. She is married and has 3 children. She runs a coffee shop. Her husband is the head of police. But this story is really about her and what it is being a mother and the relationship with her oldest daughter named Tatum. And then, of course, throw in that there is now a new ghost face out to catch Sidney and essentially everyone that she loved. So this I'm still kind of like processing a lot of this movie, and I want to do my best to keep this as spoiler free as I can. So typically in most of my reviews you'll see like the trailer going through it. So if I reference the trailer, I think that's okay because it's been out. I wouldn't call that a spoiler by any means, but I will definitely do my best to kind of not go into too much detail within this movie because there's quite a bit that goes on, and I do think this would call for a spoiler review as well. So this movie comes in at nearly 2 hours, and there are a lot of familiar faces in this movie, a lot of cameos, and I'll leave it at that. But let's get into the positives around this movie first. So I would say right off the bat, Courtney Cox coming back as Gale Weathers was the MVP for this movie. I really enjoy what they did with her character and all the little details. There's a lot that goes on with Gale Weathers in this movie, and it's just the impact that it's had on this character's life through everything that she's been through the other movies. And Courtney Cox just delivered. It was definitely a solid performance, and it's a performance that was getting the audience going as well, and everyone was laughing and cheering anytime Gale Weathers was on screen. So definitely the standout, and I'm very happy with what they did with her character. I would say Neve Campbell's a standout as well. This movie really focuses on her as she is dealing with the trauma that she's faced, being the scream queen, the ghost face killer always going after her, and just the amount of people that she's lost through her life. But now she has a family. She's settled in within a town. There's a community, dealing with the relationship with her daughter, because her daughter's in high school, around the same age as she was when everything started happening. So yeah, it's she's probably coping with that, and it's really interesting to see what they did with these characters, and I do like what they did with these characters. I think it really built on her character, especially because we didn't get her in Scream 6, but we kind of get some insight now to where she's been and what she's been up to. And there's some returning characters as well that I really enjoyed. This movie did go through some rewrites, and from what I've heard, when you think about some of these moments, you can definitely tell where some rewrites could have happened. The main two, Melissa and Jenna, are not returning in this movie, but some other characters from 5 and 6 do return to this movie. And for what they get with their screen time and, what they are given, they work with it. It's more comedic relief. But it was good to see them on screen, and the dynamic that they have with the characters that we know and familiar with, really enjoyed as well. Other than that, the movie looks really good. I think the sounds and the music and everything flows really well. The pacing's decent in this movie as well. The energy, the kills, that would probably be my last positive, is there's some brutal kills. And when it comes to the Scream franchise, there's definitely some of the more subtle kills, and then the newer ones go a little bit more all out, and I think this does a pretty decent mix, because there's a couple of standout moments that have the audience going, and it adds to that entertainment factor. And for the most part, this is an entertaining movie, but there are some issues, and we'll get to those soon. So when it comes to maybe the mid tier of this movie, the in-betweens, I don't have too many here. I think a lot of it just comes down to some story decisions. I'm not entirely on board with all of them. This would need probably one more watch to kind of, get final thoughts on some of the characters and story decisions. But I don't really see any, like, I don't see any areas where they could have like really changed anything other than like the script could have been better. But I think with the characters and what they were given, for the most part, all did well. Would have been great to see like maybe some more hyped up kills. I would say, the intro, what they did, is fine. It was fun. I think once you see it, it's been shown a lot already. And there's some moments in there where you will wonder, like, how did they pull this off? One particular moment, like I would want to rewatch it to try to figure out like how they could have like pulled this one particular moment off. But it sets up what this movie is about, which is nostalgia. That's the real focus on this one. We went from like the core movies to the requels to the franchise, and now it is all about nostalgia and everything from before leading up to this movie. So going into the negatives on this movie, new characters are completely forgettable. Most of them get very little screen time, and there's not much there to remember, honestly. And then when it comes to Ghostface and the reveal, this is definitely one of the weaker ones as well. It definitely has this sense that they've given up on trying to make it exciting in some way. It's pretty predictable. They definitely, try to keep you guessing throughout the whole movie. And that was the issue I had with number 6. I found number 6 way too predictable, and that's why I gave that one, a lower rating, because everything like I called like within the first 15-20 minutes of the movie kind of played out. So kind of like lessens the excitement of this movie. But yeah, the reveal in this is it's a bit subpar. It doesn't add anything to it, and I think most people are gonna kind of be like, what, why? It feels like an afterthought, like trying to scramble. And then, one other negative component is this movie does lean into the use of AI, and for what they do with AI, I didn't think it really moved the needle in any way. If you look back during the pandemic times, there were a number of movies that came out that were really trying to lean into like the pandemic and COVID. And to me, this does feel like one that was trying to lean into the deep fake technology and AI, and trying to lean into that to fill in some gaps. And again, it's I didn't think it really added too much to this, and it was probably trying to figure out how to make certain things work within this movie. So Scream 7, a lot of highs in this. There is some energy. It is entertaining for sure. It's hard for me to like not want to just tank on this because of some of the faults of the movie, but overall I had fun watching it. It's just when it comes to the reveal and these new characters, I just didn't think there was too much there. But when you get into the first and second act and the energy and some of the brutal kills that you get, especially if you're in a theater full of people, like there's gonna be a lot of energy there, and it makes this for a fairly fun watch. But all in all, Scream 7, leaning into this nostalgia feel, quite interesting. I'm already hearing talks of a Scream 8 that could be now in the works. We'll see. I guess it just depends on how this does in the box office. But Scream 7, I would give this a C-. I think, kind of right down the middle, 50-50, honestly. Like, there's a lot of things I did enjoy, but there's a lot of things I just wasn't entirely on board with. But it is one, like, I could rewatch, a couple more times. And I think it does fit in with the full franchise as well. So, like, watching all 7 back to back. I think with, like, there are movies I would put probably lower than this, and I may probably need to go spend some time and re-rank these a little bit, but yeah, this one, easy rewatch for sure. All right, Scream 7 in theaters this weekend. If you see it, let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'll put out a spoiler review and go into a lot more of this movie, because there is quite a bit more to talk about. But yeah, would love to know, Scream, where is your ranking? Share your rankings below, or if you're on Letterboxd, just share your Letterboxd or maybe your Scream ranking on Letterboxd. I'll go check it out, let you know what I think. All right, thanks so much for stopping by. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll try to be back again pretty soon with more reviews. Also, side note to close this out, I will be going to South by Southwest, so pretty pumped for that. There's gonna be a lot of movies premiering there. Can't wait to see them all. Can't wait to catch up with friends. We'll see how many, if I do any reviews during that time, maybe I'll just do some out of theater reactions, maybe join with some friends and do that as well. But that's coming up in a couple weeks and I'm pretty excited. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to follow me on socials. I'll try to post some pictures while I'm there and share some more social content as well. All right, have a great one. We'll see you soon.